What I forget about Toy Story 1 is that with Sid, who you look like today, he would speak. Oh God! I did a movie with Emily Watson called God's Creatures. I saw her again in Hamlet, and it was very sad. It's
Carl Chandler's in a movie.
Hey, how you doing?
He's always going to do that voice because he's got an
also,
old school Hollywood voice. I'm Carl Chandler.
It was like he was filming something much more wild, and they said to Kyle, "It's only 3 days of filming. You don't need to cut your hair. You don't need to cut your hair.
Beard. We don't
I
worry.
know. You just
you're
grizzled.
sort of a grizzled
You're
DEA agent. Yeah.
Do you think when Matt Damon went on the set of The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan was like, "Oh, what have you just been doing?" I just did the rip. And he went, "Very good. So if you want to put this helmet on and just go over there," thing is Get Carter from the 1970s,
nice.
which is a Michael Caine movie, which is very good. And lastly,
the Italian joke. You were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
And gee, if I could see you kissing your
see
wife's
you.
leg, so could the blokes in rows 3 and 4. My hot take is one that Quentin Tarantino will never make this last movie. I think he is now becoming the George R.R. Martin of the film world.
It's a big take.
That he will just sort of sit on the corner and snipe at things.
His Winds of Winter is the 10th movie.
Absolutely. He'll live off the royalties and the fame that he's accrued, and he'll coast on that for the rest of his life.
Is COVID an acronym?
I think it could be.
Hello and welcome to episode 215 of Pulp Kitchen. My name is James.
And I'm George.
And today we are going to be talking about the history of sound and the rip.
The rip.
But before we start...
So last week we talked about Hamlet. Right, we did a review of Hamlet. If you haven't checked out our Hamlet review, go listen to that. We also did a spoiler review as well. Yeah, drop 2. Yeah. You saw it, I saw it, Bush, bash, bosh. And I can't remember if this is apocryphal, but I remember being told by someone this story, and I thought I should share it with you guys. You know, there's the theatre superstition about not saying Macbeth, right? That's fine.
It's all right. You just can't resist those hands just expressing here, fingers.
You know, there's a theatre suspicion about saying Macbeth,
the
right?
Scottish play.
You meant to say
for
the
those
Scottish
of you
play.
listening backstage.
Exactly. And a lot of people, you can't say Macbeth, you say the Scottish play because it's considered bad luck. But do you know what some people have a theory of why that superstition exists?
Go on.
So I think I went on a tour of a theatre, and the guy who's doing the tour told me this. And it's because that it's not because of like a supernatural thing. It's that Macbeth has always been a banger. A crowd filler. You know, if you're running a theatre, you want to pack seats, Macbeth.
Top 5 Shakespeare, if you ask me.
It's one of Will's good ones.
Without thinking about it, top 5 Shakespeare.
Exactly. And a lot of people know Macbeth, right?
Have I seen them all? No.
But this
when I
one's
think
got
about it,
action, murder, right? It was a huge crowd pleaser, right? And it's very, very good. It's a good play. Yeah. So if you were in a play, and it wasn't doing very well, typically what the theatre owner would do would go, "This isn't selling at all, right? Chuck them out, throw Macbeth in, and we'll get sold out seats for 3 weeks in a row, right?" So that's why it became bad luck, because you don't want to talk about Macbeth, because Macbeth is the harbinger of doom. Macbeth is the play that will come and replace your play when your play gets So you'll be out on the street with no work.
I see.
While everyone else will be doing it. So that's
sort of the default. This isn't going to work. We might as well just do Macbeth to get bums in seats.
Yeah. It was very much the kind of... There would have in the 1500s, 1600s worlds of double take, there would have been you and me going, "George, I think we're going to have Macbeths every 5 years for the rest of our lives." Okay, we need to
they would have been right.
that who they're going to cast. Well, the rumours have it that Sir Curl of Wessex is going to be the next Macbeth. Well, rumour has it anyway.
Someone go through and just look at the history of Macbeth of the last 40, 50 years of cinema. I want to know how many Macbeths are made on film. Do you know what I mean? Like, I bet it must be every 5 years.
No, every 10 years maybe.
No.
Okay, what was the last one? Fassbender for 2015.
But there would have been other ones knocking around. That's true. Big ones.
They did, on stage, there's a production every...
Do we count it's Lady Macbeth? It's not technically Macbeth, but it's like a Macbeth story. Do you know what I mean? It's a Macbeth, the anthologies.
Are you talking about the Florence Pugh film?
Yeah,
but that's not. Shit. That's confusing.
I know, it's not. But like, you're using the name to sell a film. Doesn't matter. It's like saying, Luke Skywalker's not in The Mandalorian. It's like, it's all right.
Star Wars is still
the same thing.
Name's above the door. Got it. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, every. It's like, is it Macbeth, Hamlet, and I don't know, another one of his big bangers that always just goes around at theatre. If one's not showing, the other one is.
Yeah, it's like it's folklore, it's anthology.
It's 247, 365, it's a Fugazi. It's going around. And that also, one thing we haven't talked about, which is not sort of related to the theatre. Oh, actually, I tell you what, I've got another bit of theatre history about superstitions.
Please.
You know, it's meant to be bad luck to whistle in a theatre. Have you heard that? You should never whistle on stage. That's also meant to be bad luck.
Why?
But again, apparently the origin for that is because in the olden times, the people who would be the crew would be ex-sailors. They'd get ex-sailors to do all the pulleys and the ropes and stuff because they were very, very gifted with rope hardy men, and also good with heights, right, from being on the ships. But on a ship, you have so many different signals and calls to denote what you want to have happen with the ropes, right? So whistles. No, exactly. So there'll be like different whistle tones to go up or down, like, you know, all that they understand. So if you walk on stage whistling, stagehand up there mishears you, drops a huge flat on you.
Chandelier kills Lady Macbeth.
Exactly.
Done. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. I love these pirates like sunsetting their careers at sea. Be like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's just no career like being at the open sea, pulling the ropes, steering with my boys. And it's like, have you tried the theatre? There's loads of ropes. Loads of ropes. Wooden as well. Yeah. It's like there's planks.
That's a good point.
We sing, there's storytelling, all the vitamin C you need. It's perfect. No scurvy in sight. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's
anyway,
fun.
that was a little bit of theatre history there. I also wanted to, we haven't talked about, is just some films we watched over Christmas, right? I just want to share 3 things. First of all, I showed my parents Prisoners.
Yeah.
So obviously, Denis Villeneuve is a director. Obviously, we talk about a lot. Double take.
Frosty January watch.
Indeed. I hadn't seen it in 10 years, and I put it on. And now I really enjoyed it. And my parents really liked it. Right. My dad, do you know what he gave it out of 10?
10?
9.5.
Oh, that's good.
He was like, that's a 9.5 out of 10.
That's
now, my dad, you know, who's
has he ever given a 10?
Probably Heat.
Perfect, yeah.
You know, he's not quick to throw out 10s and 9.5s. So
did he articulate beyond the number?
He said it was just, you know, great. It was just everything, you know. And my mum liked it as well, and I liked it.
And I like Jake Gyllenhaal's little 2015 haircut he's got going on there.
Very, the undercut and And he's doing a deliberate blink in that movie. I didn't realise he's twitching in it.
Oh, yeah. Him and Brad Pitt and Fury were rocking that haircut.
Yeah, it's big. Do you know what? I saw a picture earlier that really sums up the difference between men's hairstyle between 2016 and 2026, which is a picture of Aaron Taylor-Johnson in 2016 and Aaron Taylor-Johnson at the premiere of 28 Years Later last year, right?
Is it like mod cut, but going
it's
back
like
to...
really like shaved to the sides and like a little spiky thing on the top. Whichever one had back then.
Sure,
and then last year it was kind of beardy, more grown out and stuff. Talking of buzz cuts, I mean,
for those of you watching,
I'm sat across from Sigourney Weaver in Alien 3
probably
here.
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
No, Marine, Honora Thug.
Yes.
Sort of just Russian.
Yeah, goon.
This
This is if you're not able to watch this right now, James has shaved off all of his long locks.
Yeah, George only found out this morning. I did it on Friday after I saw you.
No correlation there. It's not like he saw me.
No.
I mean, he was like, "Fuck, George."
That's
I'm
it.
so stressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that interesting. I was either going to grow it out for a whole nother year, which was quite long, and I was getting because I went somewhere hot, especially. I was like, I think I want to. And already when I started growing it, I was like, I know I'm going to want to buzz it when I'm done. Went somewhere hot, and I was like, it would feel really nice just to get rid of all of this, and it did. But feels quite right. I had my friends do it in the bathroom, and it feels quite wrong to just like start hacking at your hair. And they're like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, do it," because they really like it's like cutting a Barbie's hair. Like you shouldn't do it. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." And then here we go. And then I've got a time lapse of it. Maybe I'll put it on screen of me just buzzing my
because it's irreversible. I mean, technically
it is reversible.
It's a long way back round.
It's like 2 years of growth. Yeah. Last year I basically didn't really cut. I had like 2 maintenance cuts, and that was it. For better or worse.
Sorry, 2 other films that I watched over Christmas that I wanted to flag. I watched Last Breath, which you told me to watch.
Did you enjoy it?
I did very much. I think I would have probably loved the documentary.
Yeah.
This was very much like all the stuff with the sat divers. When stuff goes wrong, very interested in that. All the sort of setup and afterwards kind of classic movie stuff.
It is
a little
very
bit
classic
flat.
movie. Yeah, it is like a small film, but I think done quite well. I liked the sense of dread and the scariness of it.
And then I also rewatched The Ballad of Wallace Island, which is a lot of people's favourite film from last year.
A lot of people's really championing
I'm glad
it's the holdovers of this year.
It is.
Of the kind of like people's voice.
And I'm glad I rewatched it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it a bit more than I did the first time I watched it. The script was a lot funnier and smarter and witty and subtle than I realised. And just great work happening there.
Tim Key, friend of the show,
came
and sat next to me at Salt Lake City Airport like we were mates. And I was like, I can be your mate. Oh, yeah, sure. Hi, Tim Key. No, really lovely guy. Normal guy. He's not like a celebrity type of person. Very like normal.
No, he's very normal.
Really normal. Nice,
Very, very funny. Deeply talented.
Yeah.
Anyway, those...
By the way, sorry, that gate that we, in that flight that we got back.
Star-studded.
Benedict Cumberbatch, Olivia Colman, Tom Baz and Tim Key.
And Josh O'Connor was on
Josh O'Connor on that flight.
We were at baggage reclaim in London. That was the strangest bit because London, you know, baggage reclaim's very familiar.
Yes.
But you're stood and you're just like,
and it's like, it was Cumberbatch waiting for his bag and us.
Cumberbag.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my Cumberbag.
They wait at the baggage thing just like you do. And they're like, oh, it's my fucking bag. That is a normal thing. Unless you're flying private, you don't skip that.
No. They went left when they got on the plane.
Yes, yeah, they did go left. Yeah, you could smell the essential oils. Then we were promptly turned right. We had a premium seat.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, no, it was great. I mean,
yeah, it's fantastic.
Anyway, that was last year. Welcome to this episode of Pulp Kitchen. Today we're going to be talking about two new movies, two very different movies, led by sort of famous acting duos.
Yeah.
So we've got The Rip with Matt Damon,
The Rip,
and Ben Affleck. But I said The Rip like it was a Jason Statham movie. I'm going to rip this rip.
It's a rip.
Are you trying to jack this rip?
They call it The Rip.
The Rip.
No, it's not like that.
And then we've also got
The History of Sound, a new movie starring Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor.
That
Pool guy,
Another sad Paul Mescal movie.
Is working. He is working.
I'll only do a movie if it's sad.
Ever so slightly thinking, I'm seeing too much of this man. I love him. I think he's brilliant. He's very good in this. I just am now thinking, I want a new face in my movie.
Or you want that face to do different work.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, yeah.
I want him to be I want him to do something crazy and radical.
Like Chalamet is just about getting away with this because because he's being brilliant in everything he's in. But I'm starting to think Hollywood is not risk averse. It's too risk averse to just start casting different people in these films.
Yeah,
we can't have the same 7 people in everything.
No, and
I know that's probably always happened, but it feels like, of the last few years, we've really doubled down on like a select group, especially for men.
I do think with Paul Mescal, it's interesting when I talk to people about Hamnet. The first thing to talk about is Jessie Buckley, and then they may talk about Chloe Zhao's direction, and then they may talk about the rest of the cast. But actually, Paul Mescal isn't the first; is quite low down the list before people talk to him. And I have had. Some people and some people have found are a bit mixed on him.
Whereas if this is like the second thing you ever saw Paul Mescal do after Normal People, you would be like, oh, he's so good. It's kind of because it's been done.
I want him to... At least Chalamet did change it up a little bit. So he went from Ping to Wonka to Dylan to Dune to this.
Don't get me wrong, like he's good in this. I'll get onto the film. But it's like, I did just literally see you and review you in Hamnet last week. Yeah. There's a little bit of a deja vu of like, it's just the same person.
I wonder if they've released it so close to sort of slipstream into the buzz behind Hamnet.
Well,
so
it's not going to work.
I know. But I was like, they were like, how do we raise the profile of this?
Yeah.
Well, Hamnet has already done all the heavy lifting for us in raising your profile at the moment. Yeah. It's like the B-side. What, have you seen Hamnet? You done with Hamnet? Yeah. Why not flip over and listen to the history of
Josh
sound?
O'Connor, similarly, a film I've not seen, The Mastermind, just only a few weeks ago, he's put out and he's in this as well. But
and Wake Up Dead Man.
Oh yeah,
Mastermind came out about October.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And that is what we're going to be talking about today. So we'll do the films. Then, of course, we'll read through your emails, which you guys have been sending in, and then with the game.
And don't forget, guys, we are running a sale on our Patreon. Thank you so much to everyone who has taken advantage of it already. You can enjoy 33% off our exclusive news show, Double Take. We have already done 2 Double Take episodes this year. We did an Avengers Doomsday special, then we did a regular episode of Double Take. So use code PULP33 to enjoy 33% off. That is going to run until the end of January, so make sure you take advantage of that if you want to. That's our news show.
And if you do subscribe to our Patreon, you will get access, amongst many other things, to the Discord channel where fellow Sirens like to chat. And I've been speaking with one of our Discordees, one of the moderators, Mark, who has shared some of the exciting things they talked about in just 1 week.
Yeah.
They said at the moment they're talking all about the Bone Temple, traitors, obviously. They've been talking about really specific topics like, is it valid to not finish a film you're bored by? Where's the line? How often good endings can save boring films and things like that. That's the kind of hotbed of film discussion activity that is happening over the Discord. They need to get in there.
Get in there.
Ruffle some feathers. So that's that, which is just happening. And if you're a new listener, if you've just joined us for 2026, welcome. You've made the right choice. Here we are again. Let's do some films. Let's go.
So the history of sound has a lovely black and white poster of Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor's faces like smushed up next to each other, sharing a very intimate moment. Was looking forward to this, and I think I was really drawn to the film because of the stars involved, despite having just had that conversation about, maybe they're in a bit too much. They are both brilliant actors, and have them together, I think, is a really big draw for me to watch a film. It's directed by Oliver Hermanis, who most recently directed Living, which we both really enjoyed, and it was a beautifully shot Living. I think that's the thing I remember most about it, is just how wonderfully exciting its cinematography was, like its impression of London, the use of colour, the dress, the clothes, the environments, the office, the paper stacks, everything about it was just, it was a pleasure to be in its company. And so, was very much looking forward to this. Paul Mescal, we've already talked about. Josh O'Connor, really exciting actor who we've loved in so many things. It had quite a good buzz at Cannes, where it was nominated for the Palme d'Or, and then it was released quite a while ago in September in the United States by Mubi.
Okay,
so it's kind of been knocking around, but we're getting it in the UK this week. So this film is a period romance drama set in the sort of starts in about 1917, where Lionel, who is played by Paul Mescal, and David, Josh O'Connor, meet in a bar. And Lionel, who as a young kid, there's a voiceover which introduces this character, and we see him in sort of a meadow and a field, listening to rain, listening to water. He has what's known as synesthesia, where a note, someone could cough and he could tell you what note it is, and a smell reminds him of a color, and a person's voice makes him taste something. It's a really interesting, I learned about psychology, where like your wires are essentially crossed and certain things. And he has this very, very unique gift to understand music. And it's a plot point which is actually completely abandoned after then. But mostly just to know pretty good at music, really knows a song.
Question, which country are we in?
United States.
Gotcha.
It was which state were we in? I guess, is it Massachusetts?
That's New England, yeah.
It didn't matter. Set in the US, and these two meet at a bar. Josh O'Connor is playing a song that Paul Mescal has not heard since his childhood, and comes over and they start singing these beautiful folk songs. And every time the movie sings, it's absolutely wonderful. Lovely harmonies. Would make the fans of Inside Llewyn Davis purr with some of the folk songs that are going on around here. And they very quickly develop an amazing chemistry together. They spend the whole night playing music together, long after the barmen are flipping the chairs over. Nice. They end up spending a night together and develop a romantic relationship. They are obviously then separated by the goings-on of the early 20th century, such as with World War I. They do reconvene and spend time developing recording sounds together, traveling around the US, and basically sort of like developing the early recording technology. And we have these like old school cylinders and these megaphones that you fold up. And there's this really sort of, unique connection between these two people that is sort of immortalized and sort of like forever contained within the music that they made together. We sort of leave Josh O'Connor, and we spend most of the time with Paul Mescal's character, who after the fact goes on, lives a life, goes to study at Oxford University, meets a girlfriend, and is spending the majority of the film trying to reconnect with Josh O'Connor's character and retrace the steps of his life. So I was really drawn to this film because of the talent involved, and I think the previous film. And I have to say that largely the film is really disappointing, which is a huge shame. I will go on to say that I think the film is fantastically well acted. I really did enjoy the sound and the music of it. And I think when those two are together, I know they sort of have quite a fun friendship in real life, and they do lots of fun press together. And I think together they have a really great chemistry, and I did enjoy the sort of longing of their relationship to want to sort of find each other again. The problem with the film is that it is achingly dull. It is achingly dull, and I found it overshot at times, where sort of each process is overly configured in cinematography, where it's like, we've got a box, then he looks at the box, then Paul Mescal looks at the box, then he gets a knife to open the box, then he scores the box one way, then the box is open. It's like, just open the box! Open the box! We do a lot of walking and trudging and melancholic staring into the distance, to the point where I think it gave films like Lord of the Rings a run for its money with how much walking it did. There's times we go to Rome and there's moments there, but it never, ever got me excited or interested, and I just was never interested enough in the film. The film is definitely sad, and I thought the ending was very moving, and the sort of like harken back to moments and the longing for a relationship that could have been something else was all moving, but not enough to warrant the, I think, misplaced structure of this film, which is far too bogged down with this monotonous, dull pursuit of a character, walking. And at the end of every scene, Lionel's character walks into a space, a memory makes him sad, he lies down, and we get a shot of him lying down, and that's done genuinely about 8 or 9 times. And I don't want to rail on a film, and I it's not that I don't have a heart and I don't find these films interesting. It's just that generally I got to the end of the film and I thought, why make this? What is it that's interesting about this? It reminded me of how much better films like All of Us Strangers are, which contain similar themes about a relationship that could have been retracing steps, memory, parents, spaces, homes. Go and watch or rewatch All of Us Strangers for something a lot better than that. I admire what the actors are doing here. I think for them it kind of works for their highlight reel of all the great bits they've done, but it is just monotonous and slow. And he spends time on a farm, and his farm is depressing. And then he leaves and he goes to Rome for a bit, and he does some singing, and he lies on the floor there. He comes back to the UK, wanders around, asks people, I'm lost, where should I go? Come in for tea, come round, lie down. Achingly dull, achingly dull, and I can't really recommend it to anyone to go and see it. I wouldn't, take time to go and see it. And actually, from a cinematography perspective, given the kind of work that was done on Living, this really didn't give me anything to look at either. I didn't find it interesting, and I can't stress enough overly long held shots of walking. It's like, let's just do 14 different walking shots. And as much as I think Paul Mescal is good, he has basically 2 emotions in this. It's I'm happy and I'm in love when that moment's happening, or I am sad walking, staring into the mid-distance, and there's just nothing else to it. Wow. And it's such a disappointment for me, and I really, really found it to be a trying experience. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes, could have been 4 as far as I'm concerned. And I don't really have any interesting ideas behind it either. Like when it comes to the end and it wants to make a grander point about, sort of like memory and music and sound and someone who's lived a life and like these little trinkets you collect, I was just at the point where I didn't care. Yeah. And that's just the biggest shame about it. I'm so like sad to report back and say that it really didn't do anything for me, and I'd be surprised if it did anyone else. So that's the history of sound.
If you have seen The History of Sound and you disagree with James, do let us know by sending in your thoughts to hello@pulpkitchenpodcast.com. Well,
it's written by someone called Ben Shattuck, and it's based on a pair of short stories. And that, to me, it feels like some short stories and like notes and memory and places that have been drawn out into a film. Yeah. And I think, now I've seen it, I don't think it needed to be a film, which is a huge shame. It just didn't work for me.
Okay, there you go. That was The History of Sound. Okay, let's change the pace a little bit from The History of Sound to The Rip. Big Netflix movie released across the world with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Can I just say, before we go into it, quite interesting, straight to Netflix release, given the environment that we've got right now. And it's a Matt Damon and Ben Affleck film.
Yes.
And it's just almost like, given the landscape and everything we've been saying about Warner Brothers and Netflix and all of this, that is a straight to streamer. Is it getting a theatrical release?
I don't know that I'm aware of.
Straight to streamer, and it does ask the question of like a Matt Damon, Ben Affleck film, regardless of the quality, which we can talk about, doesn't command enough intention to be a huge theatrical release.
But I would say, which we're going to, it feels like a streaming movie.
100%.
Because it does that thing, which again I'll get into, but I've talked about before, which is when you get big talent, and then it's like, we've got Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and we're going to stay at this house for the whole film.
I'm starting to, I think, understand clearly what it is about that type of film that makes it a straight to streamer film. Yeah. Is it the lack of intention? Because it's not budget. It's sort of a lack of intentionality to the film itself, and a sort of like safeguarding and risk aversion to failure.
Yeah, I think it's just it's kept on a very tight rope. So it's like don't stray too much from the plot. The plot is essential. We're not gonna we can film it in only a few locations, but high budget. So it's not like low.
It doesn't feel cheap.
No, it doesn't feel cheap. But it's, you know what I mean. It's like it's restrained.
Yes.
Contained is the right word.
It's a contained film. The Rip.
So The Rip is right. Let's describe this then, just to get into it. It is a crime thriller starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And it is about a team of police, narcotic police team in Miami. And it says at the beginning, based on true events. I think based being the most sort of stretched,
really
stretched. Yeah. Like based in the sense that, yes, there are police in Miami. And they're also
and they probably go and do something.
And they obviously are working on narcotics, and they often do like drug raids. And the film begins, and their police captain has been murdered, and they're all very sad about this. They're being sort of investigated internally. People suspect that their team had a hand in it. There's this idea of police corruption, and there's this sort of rumor going around about police teams that go to stash houses, and stash houses where the cartel stores like loads of their money, sort of innocent looking properties where there might be multiple hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of cash. And there has been this rumor going around that there are these police teams going around to stash houses and turning them over, but also keep pocketing a lot of the cash for themselves. They're kind of like an internal heist team. That's sort of rumor going around. Anyway, it's Friday night. They're all sort of very worn out, but just before the end of the night, Matt Damon says, we're going to go to this house. We've got a tip off that there is some money being kept here, and I'm bringing my whole crew in. We're going to do it now. And it's like, okay, this is a police team that's sort of worn down by budget cuts and everything. And their team includes Ben Affleck, who's also chewed up and really annoyed and smokes a cigarette indoors and has 2 holsters for his guns because he doesn't care.
Got a beard too.
Yeah. You've got Stephen Yeun just trying to stay calm. You've got some other actors. Tiana Taylor. Yeah, my goodness. It's so weird seeing her in such a small role now. And you sort of a crew of about 5 or 6 and a dog, a beagle. And they go to this house and they knock on the door.
Unit,
a canine unit, of course. And they knock on the door, and this young woman opens the door, who I can't remember the name of the actress, but she was Supergirl in The Flash.
Sasha Kelly.
Yes, do you remember the Flash? They had Supergirl in it. And,
no.
and General Zod was like, the infant did not survive. No? Anyway, she's in it. She's got the house. She's like, what are you doing here? And they're like, please can we come in? Blah, 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 blah. And they go in the house and they look around and everything seems to be fine.
Beagle goes mental.
Beagle's going nuts. They're like, there's got to be something. And she's like, I told you there's no drugs here. And they're like, yeah, well, the Beagle doesn't sniff for drugs. The Beagle sniffs for money. And she's like, oh, crap. I don't know what's here. Anyway, knocking on some walls, pulling some wires. What do they discover? Not just a little bit of money, a huge amount of money, perhaps the biggest stash they've ever found. However, there seem to be sort of decisions and internal pressures within the group. Ben Affleck starts to be suspicious of the fact that Matt Damon may not be following protocol in the way that he is doing this operation, which arises this suspicion that could they be potentially about to pocket some of this money for themselves? It's all very nervous. You also have Kyle Chandler in this as a DEA agent. It's all
Kyle
sort
Chandler's
of,
in a movie.
Hey, how you doing?
He's
Kyle
always going to do that voice because he's got
also,
an old school Hollywood voice. I'm Kyle Chandler.
It was like he was filming something much more wild, and they said to Kyle, it's only 3 days of filming. You don't need to cut your hair. You don't need to cut your hair.
Beard. We don't
I know.
You're
grizzled.
sort of a grizzled DEA agent. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, and most of the film, as I said, takes place in this stash house. Like, is that odd thing?
And they get a call from someone from the cartel who says, if
you're not out,
if you don't leave within the next 30 minutes, all of you are going to die. Yeah. Take the money that you want and be done with it.
It's a bit of a pot boiler, really. You could just watch it slowly simmering and be. And I will say that it feels very much like. Here's what I noticed. I mean, the rip is many. Look, it is a streaming movie, and the reason we've already just described, and that is kind of fine. The film is kind of fine and very serviceable, if ultimately incredibly forgettable. I saw it 48 hours ago, and on my train here this morning, James, I was like, oh yeah, the rip.
You wouldn't rewatch it.
I would not rewatch it, but it's high budget. It's got big actors in it, and you kind of flick it on. It's a very easy thing to flick on. It has this really weird thing where it's like they said, let's get all the talking done in the first third. Let's get all the acting in the middle, and then we'll do all the action at the end. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I found the opening 20 minutes so laden with jargon and dialogue. I put subtitles on immediately. Right, yeah, There's so much police lingo and jargon about it. Well, that's the VAC team there. Where they cut the budget down there. They had the IEC over there, where the I agents are over there, and I'm like, whoa. And
it's like, you had a relationship with them, and you
that's
guys
your brother over there. And I was like, hang on, I need to read what's happening. And once we got out the police station and went to the stash house, it immediately got better, but it just sort of hits you immediately. And like I said, it's like they said, look, we need to get all this homework out the way first. Let's front load the exposition for you guys to listen to. Then you get to the house, and it's atmospheric and it's very well shot, and it's kind of suspicious, and there's lots of very ominous, heavy music to make sure you're aware that you're watching a thriller. And, Matt Damon, he can do this in his sleep, but it's not mean to say that he's sleepwalking through this. He's still sort of locked in. The same with Ben Affleck. You know, they're all there. They're doing their job. And when things start to kick off a little bit, they do get interesting. There's one scene where there's a conversation between 4 different characters, and the light is going in and out of the space that they're in. And it's cutting across their eyes, and you're kind of going in darkness, then out of darkness. And that was a moment I thought, oh, that's quite cool. That's kind of heightened the tension in a kind of slick way.
I know the one you mean, yeah.
And it kind of is kind of emblematic of the film. It's like restrained, contained, but with enough stylistic flourishes to make it watchable. It's not rubbish.
No.
But it is very kind of forgettable, and we will move on it. And look, the name of it is The Rip. It kind of is as forgettable as its title. Yeah. The Rip. Well, it's The Rip. It's The Rip. You trying to jack this Rip? It's The Rip. Yeah. There you go. So it's there. It's The Rip.
Are you trying to rip this? Is this guy going to
are you going to jack this Rip?
I'd say it is the best of that type of bunch of films.
Yes.
And that is ultimately the limit of how good it could be. But of that type of film, it's perfectly serviceable, perfectly entertaining. Yes. Quite forgettable. I agree. The main issue with me actually was that, so the most interesting part of it is in that middle section, and there's a really hot 15-20 minutes where I didn't know who to trust. And everyone was a suspect, and I thought that was really fun, and there's a resolution and a revelation as to what's really going on and all of that. I was like, oh, nice. Nice. Like a little bit of thing. It then goes very Michael Bay in Act 3. And after sort of we figured everything out, it gives you a bunch of action which really didn't need to happen. I wasn't actually interested in seeing any of these people fight or chase. There's lots of car chases, and I'm like, I'm kind of done here. I've actually had a good little sort of setup mystery. You know them, you used to know that person who's now got, you could be suspect, like a murder mystery in some sense. And then it was just like, oh, now we have to chase, now we have to fight, and it's like, my work here is actually done. I'm kind of waiting for it to end. As you said, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, I actually just quite enjoy seeing them work together. There's a wonderful familiarity that those two obviously share in real life that translates to a long-standing sort of like brother-esque relationship to it. I liked the presentation of all of these police characters being underpaid, underfunded. All of them probably would like to earn a bit more money. They've all got people and family members they've lost, partners, relationships that have not worked out. They all have a reason to want to have ripped some money there. And when you see the money for the first time, and it's like there's one of the barrels, they were meant to go for like 300K to this whole thing, and they see one of the barrels has got 1.4 million, and there's like 20 barrels, and there's like this horrible thing. There's a great moment where Matt Damon was like, everyone give me their phone. Everyone give me your phone right now, like I don't care. So there's like bits of it that I think are really serviceable. It is ultimately capped by sitting in this new brand of film that we've seen in the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years, which just, it's on there, it's entertaining. You turn on Netflix, it'll start playing some very intense clips. And I didn't have a bad time. It just gets a bit busy.
It could have been, you could have had anyone in those roles of Matt
you could have,
Damon.
you could have some good actors,
It's like Netflix saw the spreadsheet and they say, we want to release this in January to sort of kickstart the subscriptions. Can we let's cross out the actors we have in there. Sorry, Josh Duhamel or whoever, equivalent actor. Let's get Matt and Ben. Hey, now we're going to work.
I will say that just sort of adjacent to the film, one of the good things that's come out of them doing the film is they're doing all of their marketing together, which is quite interesting. I've seen clips and started listening to a really good episode of Joe Rogan that they've done where they're just talking really candidly about work, careers, AI, Hollywood. And it's actually, they just talk really, really candidly, long form, unfiltered about the situation of Hollywood. And I was like, I really appreciate that conversation and like showing their kids movies. It's not relating to the film. I'm just like, it's actually quite nice to have them do press together.
Do you think when Matt Damon went on the set of The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan was like, "Oh, what have you just been doing?" I just did the Rip. And he went, "Very good." So if you want to put this helmet on and just go over there, I want to fight. It's directed by Joe Carnahan, who kind of has made kind of mid-budget, mid-level action movies like The Grey with Liam Neeson and Smoking Aces, and the long forgotten 18 movie.
That is long forgotten.
So it's like this is I'm like it's a Joe Carnahan movie. I kind of get that. No disrespect to Joe Carnahan. It's like that's the level they want to hit. It's mid-budget, mid-level, which is now what streaming movies are.
Because back in the day, like you and I actually really enjoy those films like Phone Booth with Joel Schumacher, which like today would be a Netflix film. But we really go, like Phone Booth is really fun, intense border through. It's almost like that movie now is what The Rip is today. And I don't know what my point is. It's more that like you'd think Ben Affleck and Matt Damon even today would be enough of a star power to elevate the film into something that sort of, like I said, just has a bit more intention and maybe has a plot that they have an idea.
Yeah.
The theatrical release would have developed another layer into that film that made it, I think, just a bit more punchy and interesting.
I think and
therefore on Netflix it can just sit in this like sort of hovering at sort of mildly entertaining space, like the second screen friendly thing.
Well, yeah, I know Matt Damon's come out and said that in a Netflix script, the characters have to say the plot 4 times in order to puncture through. Yeah. I've also noticed as well just that thing about how it's slightly cynically cuts corners, and like I said, the thing about how it actually restrains the location. It's the same with the fact that it's all shot at night, basically. Yeah. And when you think actually about a lot of the action, it's in a very dark space.
I did think the
easier
film was
to
too
film,
dark.
Close it down. Yeah. So really, it's probably one of those things where 80% of the budget went on Matt and Ben.
Oh, yeah.
And then the 20% you're left over with.
Yeah.
So
because they don't get back end. There's no theatrical ticket sales. It's all just straight to stream. So it's the new normal, George.
Yeah, exactly. But I watched this after dinner on a Sunday night.
Yeah. I got sucked in. It was playing when I flicked on Netflix, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll watch The Rip. Yeah, I'll talk about it next week. Do a little Rip." And then we'd both seen it. It's like, let's do The Rip, man.
My choice was exactly. It was that or some sort of other boring film. I thought, I'll watch this instead. Yeah. Anyway, that's The Rip.
Much better than A History of Sound.
Evidently,
which didn't really give me a history of sound at all.
No.
History of like your interaction with sound, if anything. Like
also, the history of sound, it's one of those titles that I'm like, what is that?
Wants to be more.
What is that? Yeah, I don't go, wow, that's profound.
It's like a bit of his life history through sound. And it's like, I'm bored or anything.
That was The Rip. If you've seen The Rip, let us know your thoughts too. Hello at pulpkitchenpodcast.com.
The Rip. George, should we go through some of the emails that we get sent into the show every single week? As always, guys, if you want to send in your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your reviews, you can of course send them into
hello
at Pulp Kitchen
Pod.
Cast.com. Or you can support us at the VIP tier on Patreon and have priority access to have your email read out on the show. This first one is from
Ruben. Ruben writes in about Song Sung Blue,
friend of the show.
James and Fred reviewed earlier this year. You caught a screening of it back in the end of 2025 when I was away. I finally went to see it last night. I'll read Ruben's review and then I'll give you my thoughts. So Ruben says, for guys, obviously, the Hugh Jackman, Kate Hudson movie, check it out. James has reviewed for the details. Hello, lovely gents. Me again. I've just finished Song Sung Blue, and I must say I enjoyed it thoroughly. As a full-time musician, this movie was close to my heart. The leap of faith to start the journey, the struggle of getting gigs, the fear of something going wrong, the rush of entertaining the crowd. The film touched on all of it and also gave some brilliant performances and so much heart, all capitalized. Kate Hudson doesn't get the love she deserves, and it's lovely to see the faces like Jim Belushi back on our screens. Jim Belushi gives very good face in this.
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, you gotta do the gig, oh man. One of my favorites I've watched recently. My question isn't movie related, but I may ask, do you feel the sense of imposter syndrome being able to do something you love for a living? And if not, any advice on how to get over it? Oh, much love. Oh, imposter? I don't think I do.
Not imposter. I think I have imposter for every other thing I do in my career.
Really?
But weirdly, yeah. Weirdly less so now, but like I've had it with everything else. I think pop up.
Maybe with this. I think whenever we've had first experience, and when maybe I did like first junket, it was a bit like, what the hell? You feel very well, but then you realise that no one else cares. And also,
first time we spoke live together about a film, you're like, oh my God, like, can you do this? And it's like, and it's not that I think we've completed podcasting and we're the best thing to ever happen to it. It's more that I would say, being truthfully honest, I don't feel it with this that much.
No, I know we've been doing it 5 years now. Hopefully, we too right should be gone.
4 years,
5 years this year. Yeah. Rounding up for inflation. So I saw Song Sung Blue last night, so I'm just going to give you my thoughts about it. I know you and Fred really, really liked it, so we're pretty excited to see it. Anna and I were like, let's go see Song Sung Blue. Now, I knew that it was a Neil Diamond tribute-backed experience. What I didn't realise is that it was the Iron Claw for Neil Diamond fans. Okay? Okay? I won't say anything more than that.
The Iron Claw for Neil Diamond.
I was like, this is not the fucking Iron Claw. Okay? So I really, really liked the film. Yeah. And I really, it was all the things that Ruben, you just said in your email, and it was gentle and fun and enjoyable. But it has this whole other edge to it, this whole other side to it. And I was like, about halfway through the movie, I was like, this is becoming a proper story. This is becoming a proper thing.
It's all true.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that it was all true makes it just so much more compelling. It was really moving. I'd say almost as moving as Hamlet in many ways. There's a kind of similar.
Oh, I was really emotional.
Anna was next to me, was just in bits, and at the end she said to me, she was like, "That's sadder than Hamlet," but it's not sad. It's anyway.
It's uplifting. Yeah.
It's uplifting, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's got a lot of charm, a lot of heart. I like the fact it's a movie without an antagonist. Life is the antagonist.
Yeah.
There's no sort of villain. There's no sort of nefarious, physicalized external kind of threat in a person. It's just kind of the experiences of life. Lots of people being helpful to each other and trying to help each other out. And my favorite thing was like, as someone who loves music and like all art and culture and everything, it's really nice for a film to celebrate the art, not the artist. Not that there's anything wrong with Neil Diamond, but it's more that like, we've had lots of biopics that celebrate artists performing in front of stadium arenas and their big crowds. And I like the fact that this is a film that shows you the value and the catharsis and the importance of art, even when it's performed in front of 20 people at a Thai restaurant.
Yes.
That's just as meaningful. You get
it's a love letter to just performing in music itself. Yeah.
And I really, really like that. And in a way, it's like you don't ever need to make a Neil Diamond biopic because the story of his music and everything is told best through these people.
Through how the actual music of that person touched and changed people's lives. It's more fitting than if you'd done the Neil Diamond story.
Yes,
and Neil Diamond could have been in this film. In fact, he very nearly, or like a version of Neil Diamond, very nearly in it, but you never needed it.
No, you don't. It's good that he kind of, I'm glad he gave his permission for the songs to be used, obviously, for the film could get made. And I was surprised and delighted, and I think it's very much a grower of a film as well. The more the story turned and had sort of different elements to it, I was like, oh wow, this is a full thing. I thought I knew exactly where it was going at the beginning.
No. 2/3 in, I realised I really like these characters, and the film really loves people.
Yes.
It's not just about music. Like it clearly really has this effusive love for the weird and wonderful people that go and do these things. And I think, like Fred said, this is that like it almost it telegraphs itself as an average movie, but it's not. It's actually really well done, and it's really good. And you think you know exactly what type of film this is, but it's just a wonderfully pleasant surprise, and I had so much time for it.
I think already we're going to be talking about this film as an underrated movie, because people won't have appreciated it. So I think, as we talk about many other films recently, we love looking back and seeing underrated movies, whether it's Better Man or Blackberry or things like that. It'd be like, your Song Blues. You're right, an underrated movie. It looks like an average movie, but it's actually so much better. And I'm delighted that your mum saw it, my parents saw it. Everyone comes out and goes, "Oh, I liked that." Song Blue.
It's something about it, not apart from the darker bits, but like it reminded me of Chef in a sense, and like those easy mode films, which are just like, it's for the love of the thing that's at hand and the people involved, and it's just a delight to be in its company. And all the music that's sung and performed is all done so well.
Yeah, I also I did get me thinking about. I thought about this after I came back from Nashville, but like in America in particular, having live music in a venue, like a bar, a restaurant, everything is so much more commonplace than it is here.
Yeah.
Like you might go to a pub and there might be one night a week, maybe.
Rare,
it's rare. But I feel like in America, there's always live music playing. And it just gives you, that's something I really enjoy when I've been to America. Like there's always present there. And I think it's just like, that's what this film kind of celebrates, is those people who occupy those spaces, and there's a public space for quick access to art and fun and music.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think it's still out in cinemas if you're listening. So go and catch it. I think it's a great one to see in cinema and take yourself to see for like a love. I guarantee you'll come out of it feeling warm and fuzzy and
people
lovely.
Behind me were like, as if, they're like, we like to stay and let the the credits roll, but people were sort of leaving. This is people sort of in the grey pound element of the audience, and they were like, "Oh, that was lovely. Oh, they're such nice characters.
Great chemistry between the two of them, don't you think?
White hot. Yeah. I'm glad. Do you think there was a version? Well, no, there probably wouldn't, because he can't sing. But I was wondering if there's like a version of this film which would have been McConaughey and Hudson again.
Oh, for sure.
But then they were like, McConaughey can't sing, can he?
Yeah, I don't.
Not as well as.
I've never heard him sing. On and on, Suleiman.
Anyway, thank you, Ruben, for that. Let's do some emails about the Bone Temple, shall we?
Yeah.
Moving on to
last year. Stephen. This is what I'd say. Stephen says, "Hi, James and George. Yes, I'm locking it in that it's James and George. The Spotify artwork never lies and has always said this, and I can tell the difference between your voices.
Nice.
Our new artwork has to be like a hybrid of our faces, just like one.
Not the history of sound.
It's just smushed up next to each other. It's quite a long email, so paraphrase if you need. Okay, I can see. Stephen goes on to say, I love the cinema. It's genuinely my favourite thing, but not many people in my life share the same enthusiasm. That's a shame. My wife enjoys it, but doesn't want to see everything, and my friends mainly stick to horror. I often end up going alone, which I still enjoy, but finding your podcast has been brilliant. It feels like I've got two friends to discuss films with. Even if I'm only listening in on the conversation, it's fun to hear how people's opinions are similar, also different. So thank you for doing what you do. On 28 years later, the Bone Temple. Nia DaCosta's direction is bold and stylish, and at times the cinematography looks fantastic. I appreciate that it goes for a different visual approach to the first film, though I didn't enjoy it quite as much overall. It's definitely good, and I like the tonal shifts into brutal, sadistic violence mixed with dark comedy. Ralph Fiennes gives a brilliant, fun, emotional performance. Number of the Beast was insanely fun, but I did miss the character depth and development of Spike.
Yeah.
After how surprisingly emotional and heartwarming the first film was, I hope this would focus more on him and his story. I understand why they chose a different direction though, and I'm hopeful the next film can strike a balance between the two. Fun, brutal, and emotional instead of feeling distant and at times meaningless. I'm excited to see what DaCosta does next, especially as one of the rare few people who really liked her Candyman film.
Oh yeah, I never saw that.
The audience, we said this last week, split on 28 years versus Bone Temple.
I felt like there's been a lot more upfront love for Bone Temple than with 28 years.
Yeah.
Like we said, what we realised after we did our end of year thing was that 28 years later is now like 6.6 on IMDb.
Yeah.
It's a bit sort of, the average has come down a little bit, but people seem to be really enthusiastic about this. But I'm like Stephen, I'm with him. Like it's fine, but we much prefer the first one.
On Hamnet, I saw this last week and thought it was quietly beautiful, thoughtful film with great atmosphere and emotion. Jesse Buckley is excellent. Jacoby Jupe is great. And casting Noah Jupe as Hamlet was a genius touch. Nice to hear you mention him recently. I'm glad you pointed that out. It's a really smart piece of casting. The whole cast is strong. I always think Joe Alwyn is good and genuinely one of the best supporting actors around. And the child actors are great too. I like Paul Mescal, but I do agree he can go either way. Sometimes a bit overdone, sometimes a bit too mumbly.
It's like you're in the room with us, Stephen. You're
literally
saying everything we're saying.
It didn't fully overwhelm me emotionally on first watch, but Chloe Zhao's craft is evident throughout.
Yes.
And the final theatre sequence is subtle and intelligent. I imagine it would hit even harder on a rewatch.
Yes.
The score is lovely, and even though using On the Nature of Daylight can feel over-familiar, I thought it was a perfect choice here. I enjoyed it overall, even if the deliberate pacing tested my patience at times. Also, Paul's earring is realistic. If you Google Shakespeare's portrait, he has that little hoop earring.
Cute.
I'll be quick on the next two. I just would say, like, On the Nature of Daylight is a great music choice for that scene. It's just that in a vacuum it works. Unfortunately, it's been used many different times, which made it a little bit strange for me. But yeah, I really liked. I thought all the stuff in the Globe was brilliant. I loved that they were. I presume that was the Globe, otherwise it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think they did.
So great to be in there to shoot, and it's
why build the Globe when you just use the Globe? Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's like really hard to get permission to film in there, but. It's so wonderfully stripped back and minimalist and true to what it would have been like, I assume, to actually film there and perform. And I just thought it just looked brilliant. And it's not been, they've not done it up with any sort of like modern trimmings. Like it's natural light, it's made of wood. Yeah. It looks like it's something out of A Knight's Tale.
Looks like the faintest ember would burn the whole thing to the ground.
Literally, a cigarette, a misplaced cigarette would.
Someone's lighting a pipe. Sir Walter Raleigh's giving me this. Oh my goodness! Oh
no! And then on Marty Supreme, Timmy's getting that Oscar for sure. I haven't had a performance that made me smile that much in ages. Constant tension, sweaty close-ups. It's what the Safdies do best, and Josh brings it here too. The editing's so sharp, you barely feel the 2.5 hour runtime. Great score, great supporting performances, and a script full of tension and awkward laughs. One of those rare films that felt perfect on first watch. Yeah, I agree with Marty Supreme. I maybe think it is edging a little bit too long, Marty Supreme, and it meanders ever so slightly. I enjoyed the journey, and I think Chalamet's amazing. I wonder if it did a couple of too many bits there.
Take out 10 minutes.
A cool 10.
Less dog for you. One less dog.
Yeah, could have done less dog. Yeah. On The Housemaid, James is right.
By the way, Steve, I love that you've written this email. Obviously you've given us like 4 reviews, but I like you've given them concise, to the point, and
which
effective.
means I'll keep reading because you're concise with each one. Yeah. On The Housemaid, James is right. It's silly, poorly acted, and yet ridiculously fun. I loved talking about it with a friend afterwards. Proof that not every film needs to be a masterpiece to be enjoyable. That is exactly what The Housemaid is. It is really dumb, and it's a bad film, but there's so much value in going to see it, and especially to talk about it with a friend. Like that is the right way to
And
do
it's getting a sequel.
Oh, fantastic. And then more books.
I know I did.
I
know less than you did.
I saw people in airports reading The Housemaid, and I was like, yeah, perfect. It'd be a great poolside page turner. Finally, I wanted to recommend something. There's a newish play of the talented Mr. Ripley touring the UK at the moment and heading to London. It stars Ed McVeigh, who's Prince William in The Crown, as Ripley, and despite a very simple set design, it's incredibly immersive. McVeigh's performance is phenomenal, and the fact he delivered those monologues for 2.5 hours every night is insane. As fellow Ripley fans, I think you'd both love it.
Thank you for the nom.
Sorry for the long, slightly rambling email. I don't often get to share my film thoughts with people, but thanks again for the podcast. It genuinely means a lot. Fellow Siren, Stephen. P.S. James, grow up and get letterboxed. You have the wrong idea here. You don't need to rate any films. As someone who loves the pod and I only hear you talk about more recent things, I'd love to know what you're watching outside of the show from this point onwards. Don't bother backlogging. Just note that you've watched something so that we know you're watching, so you can add a comment saying good, meh, or bad. Also, you could just do the list of the films you've watched this year and order them from favourite to least. Anyway, thanks guys.
Squeeze every bit of film content out of you, James.
Just go and do admin in your life. More admin. They're timesheets of cinema, George.
Okay, let's go back to the top. So Charlie's written in about the Bone Temple. Charlie has said, "Hi George and James," or James and George.
You did say George and James first, though.
I just thought I'd regale you with my account of my viewing of the Bone Temple.
Please.
I had planned a solo watch on Saturday as none of my nearest and dearest can handle horror. On the day, an old friend, this is told like a tale, this is brilliant. On the day, an old friend visiting my local area contacted me a good few hours before my viewing. Long story short, I had a few beers and ended up seeing the Bone Temple slightly drunk, though I was well behaved, I promise. It was bloody brilliant! And seeing the scene with Iron Maiden while 4 sheets to the wind was nothing short of mesmerising. I think Rafe is doing some of his best work here. I also couldn't help but pick up on the similarities of the Jimmies with Glanton's gang and the novel Blood Meridian. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I'm not. I know I've heard of it, but in both, the central character becomes almost passive to the extreme violence that surrounds him. For me, this one is definitely on par with the last one. And not many franchises are pumping out such quality on their 4th iteration and legacy sequel at that. Looking forward to the next one, and also makes me intrigued to see what Alex Garland has planned for the Elden Ring film he's writing too.
Yeah, big job.
Thanks for the podcast and continued discussion you guys bring. All the best, and I wish you continued growth in 2026. Charlie in Middle England. P.S. I'll give it a rewatch later in the year while sober.
I mean, like, to call it on the 4th iteration, it's like, yes, but I kind of consider it the sequel to 28. It's a new, I know it has the name, but it feels like it's a new trilogy, isn't it? This next one is from Albert, who writes in and says, "Hello, James, George, or James, possibly both." I'm Albert, long-time listener, patron, and second-time emailer. Obviously, so thank you so much for your support. Okay, Albert, I'll be honest. You've given me a short review and a long review. Your short review is a long review and it's far too long to go on the show. I really appreciate it, but there's just no way I can read this out because it will take 30 minutes. So I'm just going to take a bit of your short review, but thank you so much for writing in. You can't send us 3 sides of A4 for review. But you go on to say, thank you for sending it anyway. To put it shortly, I was deeply disappointed with The Bone Temple, as 28 years later is perhaps my favourite film of all time, certainly of the 2020s. It spoke to me on a deep level and even got a rate cry in the cinema from me. There was something brilliant about it that spoke to English culture centred around this gloriously simple and heartbreaking plot that explored the loss of innocence and the meaning of true humanity in a broken world. Wow. All helmed by Danny Boyle in his bold yet brilliant directorial style. Everything felt fresh yet nostalgic. Someone raised in the North, it meant a whole lot to see cultures represented when they are so often overlooked in favour of flashy London and southern setting. So this film showed none of the same ability. I found myself profoundly disappointed. The cast of this film is still outstanding. I believe Alfie Williams to be one of the best young actors working right now, and I hope he goes on to have a lengthy career, so I think he shows real talent whenever he's on screen. He does great work. Jack O'Connell is predictably great. He can hold the screen with a menacing presence, elevating Jimmy as well. It is due to his work that I remained engaged during the large chunk of the film. I've been on record before in my statement that I believe Ray Fiennes to be the greatest actor of all time, living or dead. He's beyond amazing, and everything he does in this film is no different. The best scene in this film is a simple dialogue scene between O'Connell's Jimmy and Ray Fiennes' Ian. I believe this moment to be the only one that matches closely to the quality of the first film. That's all I can read of yours, Albert, because we'll be here for 40 minutes.
What I like about that, Albert, is you said, I've been on record before in my statement, I believe. I've been on record. I have been on record for a long time. You said Ray Fiennes is one of the finest young actors.
It was not only a few years ago that we saw you say on record.
And just last one on 28 years, one from Isaac, who writes in and says, "Hello lads, hope you're both well and Happy New Year. I've just been catching up on all the episodes you posted over the Christmas break and absolutely loved them. I was buzzing when I checked my Spotify Wrapped and saw you were my second most listened to podcast of the year, which is saying something as I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Nice.
Thanks so much for being a massive part of my year and for bringing a love of cinema to my ears every week. You guys genuinely inspire me to look deeper into films rather than just glaze over a big screen and say, cool. Before I carry on, it's funny to mention that because of you, I've started to listen to loads of other movie podcasts. Nice. One I follow closely, The Weekly Planner, recently did their Best Films of the Year episode. And what did they vote for? Yes, you guessed it. Both your favourite film, Superman.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of favourite films, last year, hands down, 28 years later was mine. I was very sceptical about the new era of the 28 franchise as the first one I hold very close to my heart. But wow, I was completely blown away. That shot of the Alpha on the hill at the sunset was just absolute cinema. I could honestly say it might be my favourite film of the 2020s.
There you go.
I'm actually emailing you straight after my screening of The Bone Temple, and once again, I feel blown away. It is as good. Is it as good as its predecessor? No, I don't think it quite hit that mark. But nevertheless, I think Nia DaCosta did a great job taking the reins from Danny Boyle. I could immediately tell Boyle wasn't directing this one from the way the jump scares were set up and the slower, more actor-focused pacing. That said, a different perspective might actually be exactly what the franchise needs, especially with this release coming less than 6 months after the previous one. If it had felt too similar, it could have been a problem. I'm already fully excited for the next installment. Give me post-apocalypse England any day of the week. I also have to add that I had no idea the film would go to the direction it did. Totally unpredictable. And a huge appreciation for Ralph Fiennes, who once again shows us he's exactly why he's a top-tier actor.
And the next one I'll go into being like, well, I wonder what we're getting served today.
Yeah. Thank you, Isaac, for your email on that.
This one is from Adam, who says, hello, James and George. Second time writer, currently listening to episode 214. The first 3 2026 releases for me have all made me cry, lol. The last film I watched was Hamnet.
I thought you meant our episodes. No, I thought you meant like the episodes you put out just so moving. Sorry.
The last film I watched was Hamnet, which was the most I've ever cried at a film and had to compose myself before I left the cinema. Beautiful acting and directing, and that child actor, just wow. Yeah. Also before Hamnet, I watched Song Sung Blue after Fred gave it a very positive review. I can't remember what you thought of it, James, but that ending absolutely destroyed me, holding my breath from how much I was crying. I also loved it. We both loved it. And then to start the year, I watched The Electric Marty Supreme, where that ending hit me a little in the feels after the journey we've seen Marty go through. I'll be watching Rental Family this weekend, and I hope it doesn't make me cry, and it's more sweet and hopeful rather than sad.
I've heard, but Rental Family is quite tear-jerky.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet. Stand by. I look forward to the next episode. Side note, I'm very annoyed no cinema nearby is showing sentimental value, and I have to wait until the end of January to watch No Other Choice. Thanks for reading. Can't wait for the next episode. I don't know why it's not showing, or just from where you are, it's not available. But write in when you see them.
And last one is from Isabel, who writes in, very fittingly for this episode, about Josh O'Connor. What a man.
Yeah.
Dear George and James, and Jamed and George, hey, if you write it wrong, we're going to read it wrong. Ron Burgundy reads whatever's on the teleprompter, okay?
So message for life. If you write it wrong, they're going to read it wrong.
Hello, Isabel says. I'm a long-time listener, but a first-time writer. Having listened to your episodes talking about Josh O'Connor in Wake Up Dead Man, of which I completely agree that he carried the film, I thought you'd be interested to know he plays a priest in another film, Emma. I recently came across this film again, and the cast is full of British icons, including Miranda Hart, Bill Nighy, Anya Taylor-Joy, Mia Goth, Callum Turner, Johnny Flynn, and Connor Swindles. I'm not sure if it was COVID, but I feel like this didn't get the recognition it deserved. It's very good Jane Austen adaptation.
COVID was in all caps.
If you write it, I'll read it out. The costumes are gorgeous, and the music is by Isabel Waller-Bridge. That's right, sister of.
Is COVID an acronym?
Oh, I think it could be.
You keep reading.
If you haven't seen it or are looking for a Sunday afternoon watch, then I would definitely recommend. Josh O'Connor is amazing in it. His comedic timing is superb, and he's just very versatile. I do agree. I'm actually...
It's really uninteresting. It stands for coronavirus disease. Coronavirus disece. I've never connected that before in my life. I'll get you back to email.
I think I'm at a point now where Josh O'Connor has taken the place I held for Paul Mescal in terms of the most interesting actors working today. It's in the week where you've reviewed History of Sound.
Yeah.
Now with Paul Mescal, whenever I hear his name come up, I'm thinking, is it going to be a bit different? I need something different from Paul. Whereas now if you said, it's a new movie of Josh O'Connor, I go, you know what? Every time I see him, he absolutely delights me with something different. I love. I know you haven't seen Wake Up Dead Man, but which is fine. He is really good at it, and he's just. I believe that every time I see him, I am getting something slightly different.
Yeah.
I think also what Paul could do with is a bit more darkness of a nastier character. That's why God's Creatures was quite good, because he's not a nice person. I could do with a little bit more an edge, something different, rougher you up a little bit, or put you in like a zany comedy. I don't know.
No, he needs to do something different.
Yeah, but that is different, right?
Yeah.
Apart from just being like,
Oh God.
Oh,
I did a movie with Emily Watson called God's Creatures. I saw her again in Hamnet, and it was very sad. Okay, James, shall we finish with a game? James, as ever, Pulp Kitchen ends
with a game.
And this is a bit of a different game. It's actually going to be a fairly short game. And I'm just wanting to try this out. So, James, you know, we've done this podcast for nearly 5 years now, over 4 years, right? And we've experienced a lot of each other in that time. And you will be aware now that not only do we talk about films all the time, but we think about films all the time. And one thing you've become familiar, at least with me, is that I have a sort of ongoing radio of films pinging around my mind all the time. Sure. And for example, recently, you asked me to go get something. We were in the same space, and suddenly, for no apparent reason, my mind started doing Eddie Redmayne in Les Mis. Yeah, and you were like, "Where did that come from?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
I don't know why George opening the fridge made him do. Yeah, a ghost, you say?
A ghost. I have no idea either. Yeah. And it is like my mind is constantly doing the sound game with itself. Yes. At Christmas time, it was just full of Grinch quotes.
Sometimes it makes sense, but sometimes I'm like, why are you quoting that film right now? It doesn't make sense.
No, it sometimes doesn't make sense. It's usually deeply niche. The other day...
The brain is an amazing thing.
It's an amazing thing. A strange thing. I was taking very long to do something the other day. So I said to James, I'm sorry, I have been falling for 30 minutes, which you got immediately, but a very specific throwaway line in Thor Ragnarok, right? But you got it straight away. Yeah. So anyway,
this is context.
So this, I have been making a mental note over the past, I want to say 10 days, of random film quotes that have bubbled up in my brain that I've sort of ended up saying. And I would say bubble up on a semi-regular basis, a bit like they do with the sound game. So, but instead of guessing the movie from the sound, I'm going to just give you and half act out the bubbled up film quote that's been bouncing around my mind, and you just have to tell me.
The insane ramblings of your dormant mind.
Exactly. Welcome to the insane ramblings of my dormant mind. Lovely. So, James, are you ready for these? Only about 5 of them.
This is what they play in mental asylums. When you get sectioned and you're like with your mate and you're thinking, hey, let's play.
We're gonna get the next week we'll be doing like Rorschach tests. Which film do you see in this butterfly pattern? Okay. Guess the movie from the very random film quote that bounces around in my head almost every week, okay? Number 1. Some of you may die, but it's a price I'm willing to make.
Great quote from Shrek, a Lord Farquaad. A relevant quote that comes up, unfortunately, frequently in politics today.
Number 2. I am Mrs. Nesbit.
I don't have it. What is it?
That is Buzz in Toy Story 1 when he's given up and he's been made to play in a tea party and Woody comes in and Buzz goes like, I am not, but I am Mrs. Nesbit.
I've not watched Toy Story 1 in a long time.
Probably is the least revisited one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's still good.
Hold up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you could, now we are 30 years later, you can look at some of the animation and go, oh, I can see how they would render that differently.
And I'd say I've only seen Toy Story 1 twice, but Toy Story 2 I've probably seen 10 plus times, 3 I've probably seen 3 times.
What I forget about Toy Story 1 is that with Sid, who you look like today,
of course.
Woody speaks to Sid to scare him. He actually comes alive and says, and I'd forgotten that. And I feel like later Toy Stories wouldn't have done that. It just wouldn't have.
It's a bit nasty, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit mean. And it's freaky. Sid's whole yard.
Sid was really scary.
Yeah.
And his dog was scary.
Yeah, it's like it's an American bulldog.
That's type of,
yeah. Anyway, next up.
They're very sweet dogs.
Number 3. I heard their period's can attract bears.
It's not wild hogs, is it?
No.
Their periods, like, think about women.
I'll give it to you again. I'll give you a longer quote as well. Yeah. I heard their periods can attract bears.
It's really, they
can smell the menstruation.
It's Anchorman 1 or 2.
It's Anchorman 1. Yes. It's Brick. That's right. Well done. Yes. Okay.
That's when Veronica Corningstone comes in as a woman. It's
that's like right. And they're like, "Do you hear that, Ron? Bears." She was only 15 years old.
She was only 15 years old. Well, it's the trip impression.
But do you know it is the immediate
Italian Job?
No. Same era of Michael Caine.
What? I don't actually know exactly what it is.
So the immediate reference is right. It's Rob Brydon and Steve Coogan from The Trip doing that. But the film they're referencing is Get Carter from the 1970s, which is a Michael Caine movie, which is very good. And lastly,
the Italian joke, you were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
And gee, if I could see you kissing your wife's leg, so could the blokes in rows 3 and 4. I could have done that one on here actually as well. And lastly, for this week, for the random film quote.
A little bit more. If I can see you, because he's backstage. If I can see you kissing her leg, and so can the guys at the edges of rows 3 and 4.
And lastly, au revoir, Shoshana!
Hans Lander and Leo Fling of Inglourious Basterds.
Exactly. I hope you enjoyed the ramblings, the film ramblings of my mind. Random quotes. Just
I love the way the score rises as the music rises as she's running away. Like all the tension of that scene built up and released into a run. Oh, it's brilliant. What a movie.
I've seen Inglourious Basterds a lot, many, many times. And it is one of those films that is in the freezer for me because
I remember last
time I watched
5-year embargo for you.
10 year.
You think 10?
I think 10, yeah, at least. It's just, when I watched it a couple of years ago.
Because you did all the Tarantinos.
Anyway, one thing I've noticed in that opening scene, great scene, Inglourious Basterds full of little individual scenes that are great to pick out just on their own. At the end of that opening scene, when they've shot up the floorboards and Shoshana breaks down, she starts running across the field. We see the open doorway and we see Shoshana start to run out, right? And then Hans Lander walks into the frame, walks out of the doorway, pulls out his pistol and aims at Shoshana, right? The amount of time that it takes him to walk out and point the pistol is actually really long. And I know it's not a realistic movie, but having seen this movie so many times, I'm like, it's only a small little cabin. Hans, you could have just walked out and shot her like immediately.
He loves the chase, George.
He does.
He loves
the chase. Way, he doesn't care about the killing of them. He just cares about the chase.
That's why he took 20 minutes to have that scene. It's foreplay for him.
Why kill her immediately when he can have the fun of maybe getting her from afar?
You need to think bigger. He's that evil. He likes to chase down these people.
And then Hans Lander comes in and he's like, I'm not going to shoot her straight away. I'm not going to shoot her straight away. I'm going to shoot her from a distance, right? And Paul Dano sucks, man.
Terrible.
There you go.
And I liked her seeing all the actors at the Golden Globes say that I was George Clooney. He was like, I would be honoured to work with Paul Dano. You're a phenomenal actor.
Yeah, I think Tarantino's really sort of shot himself in the foot there. Try getting your last movie made now. Do you know what my hot take is? My hot take is
he'll never make it.
Sorry?
He'll never make the movie.
My hot take is one that Quentin Tarantino will never make his last movie. I think he is now becoming the George R.R. Martin of the film world.
It's a big take.
That he will just sort of sit on the corner and snipe at things.
His Winds of Winter is his 10th movie.
Absolutely. He'll live off the royalties and the fame that he's accrued and he'll coast on that for the rest of his life.
He's made it too much of a pressure thing.
Exactly. And I do think
the 10th and final movie.
It's the Winds of Winter
Who wants to make a film with that pressure? You should have kept it a private 10 film limit.
Yeah.
And then if he changed his mind, nobody knew about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a good take.
Thank you. You heard it here first, guys. Anyway, those
tomorrow he drops the trailer for his 10th film. Immediately dates.
No, he's going to spend the rest of his life going on Bill Maher and Joe Rogan and
do you think?
And hopefully Pulp Kitchen.
And Pulp Kitchen.
We'll still have
criticizing other people's films.
I think just talking about movies, which is entertaining enough, but I
do you think he'd do a TV show?
No. Maybe.
Or like, I think he'd be too cool to call it a TV show. I think it would have to be like a featurette 4-hour thing that's released in 1-hour increments. But it's not TV. Don't call it TV.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It would be consumed probably in cinemas, but also very much on TV. We'd go partner with like an HBO.
Netflix.
And it'd be Netflix. And he would package up a project.
I still can't believe we're getting The Adventures of Cliff Booth from David Fincher. I don't say that as like...
Is that this year?
Yeah. I'm like...
Did we talk about that in our 2026 look ahead?
No, we talked about it because it's kind of TV. But it's not that I'm like desperately looking forward to it. I just can't believe it in the sense that that is an idea that actually has happened. I mean, Tarantino's had lots of ideas like Star Trek. He had a Star Trek script that was meant to be amazing that didn't go anywhere. A Bounty Law was going to be a TV show. And then... And the fact that he's allowed someone else to make something from what he's come up with, but based off a film that was, a critical darling. And it's David Fincher of all people. It's not like some new director trying to cut his teeth. It's like David Fincher, who could do anything. He's going to go, I'm actually going to make Quentin's project for 10 episodes.
If you could have Quentin Tarantino be paid to direct an installment of a pre-existing franchise, obviously whether Star Trek was a thing, which franchise would you like Tarantino to direct?
I'm going to have to think on this a second.
Yeah. Would it be cool to have like a really violent Guardians of the Galaxy?
We're almost there though. I think that it's James Gunn has kind of still got the kind of
because the music
punky,
thing is what got me going. Like he chooses the music and then directs around it, but you added like violence and sort of a zaniness and a flair. Not that it doesn't. The Guardians doesn't have flair. Because Star Trek, I don't think it was ever really going to happen, but that was one that was shopped around. I think a Tarantino Star Wars would be awesome if you think of what he did with Kill Bill.
What about the Italian Job?
Yeah, that'd be
but
awesome.
a violent one.
Yeah,
so it's like 60s retro, but kind of fun and
it's
also
a franchise.
Like
but I take it.
I know you mean it's not exactly. Did you ever see the Edward Norton remake?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
2003.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Charlize Theron. Mark
I think
Wahlberg.
I saw that 3 times.
Yeah. Oh, I had it on DVD years ago. Yeah. I liked it
because that was when Mini. Wasn't that? I have a feeling that this is massively made up now. Sorry, guys, for the tangent.
That's right.
I have a feeling the only reason that movie got made is because BMW bought the Mini.
They needed a showcase
IP. They bought the Mini brand,
and they made those cars. Really,
and they're like, "What's the most iconic Mini showcase?"
Makes sense. They were really like distractingly
because they were the new versions.
Yeah, and they were like really easy to spot in traffic.
And also, yes. And isn't there a line in it where Mark Wahlberg says, "We're going to do this like the Italian Job"? So I'm like, "Oh, so we're
going to do it like the Italian Job."
Yeah, you get a Mini Cooper, I get a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that. I don't know anything about cars. I don't actually really care about cars.
No.
Other than that, sometimes they're nice to look at.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
We're not car people.
No, not car people.
Yeah.
But a good question. The Tarantino thing.
I like a car. Like if you show me a really cool rocket that goes to space.
Yeah.
A cool car. But like, that rocket looks amazing.
I don't drive it.
No. We're going back to the moon. You know about this. I'm so excited.
You and me?
No, not me and you. Not yet. We're not big enough yet.
We're going back to.
Yeah. Have you seen the news?
Yeah.
We're taking off soon. For a couple of weeks.
Who's we?
NASA.
Oh, yeah.
NASA going to the moon. We're not landing. We're going first trip back to the moon since the 70s.
Yeah, I think so.
Going there, round, take some pictures of the dark side of the moon, come back.
What for what purpose?
Listen to this guy.
Apart from research.
What purpose?
Oh, no.
It's like it's a new manned ship, spaceship to the moon. That's pretty big.
Yeah. Why do I feel like I'm the journalist and you're the spokesperson at this press conference?
Why we do it because it is hard, George.
Don't give me Kennedy.
Not because it is easy, but because it is hard.
Do you know what? When I went to Cape Canaveral, they play that speech so many times.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the plan is to send people back to the moon. But we need
of course.
to land on the moon, but we're going to go there first, do a round trip. It takes about 9 days to go to the moon.
Okay.
Huge, big rocket.
Like an Ad Astra where there's like a casino there. Do you remember that? There's like a McDonald's there.
I don't think we're there yet. I said this on Double Take. This is my hot take, is that we do need to go back to the moon and we need to land on it and shoot it in 4K.
Now, James, I'm going to tell you at this point, with your shaved head and that opinion, I'm getting excited.
It's not about opinion.
We need to go back to the moon. I'm telling you, I'm sick of them putting chemicals in the water.
I just think it would be good for us as humanity.
Or just to look up that.
I think it would be good to update the video. I say, I really do believe we went to the moon, but I think it could do with
4K.
So, when a company's like, we should just maybe like spruce that up a bit. Yeah. Dare I say 4K? Dare I say a live stream, get some GoPros up there. You know how like you can watch the ISS from any time?
Yeah.
Let's live stream the moon. Get the whole thing going. Just dispel anything that's going to come up about this. And we do need to go back.
Yeah.
Just for our own sake.
Yeah, sure.
I believe we went. I know we went to the moon. It's so weird that people think we didn't go to the moon because we'd had to have lied about it like so many times.
Yeah, yeah. Is there
We're not getting into it.
No, I don't want to get into it. We'll save it. I'll save it for an offline chat.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode
we gotta
of
go
Pulp
back.
Kitchen. We really appreciate you checking in. And thank you as ever to our producers, Loz, Dave, Umar, and Rachel.
We salute you guys. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you to everyone else who supports us on Patreon as well.
Because you might have been listening and been like, that producer tier is growing. And it's like, yes, because you are the producers. If you want to join the producer tier and be called a producer, you can join the producer tier by going onto Patreon.
And for all the other tiers, guys, you can enjoy a 33% sale till the end of January. It's currently, as the time of you guys listening, the 21st of January. So you have 10 days left to take advantage of that sale and get access to Double Take It. You can sort your subscription for the whole year at a third off. So if you wanted to do that, that's the best way to support us. We do a whole news show there. Make sure you go and check that out. Check out some more content later this week, which is going to be very exciting. We're going to talk about the new Game of Thrones show night, The Seven Kingdoms. We got to see the first 2 episodes of that, which was fun. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more.
Onwards. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. it.